sure, so go for it.
So wait, is no one? Someone isn't muted. Or are we good?
Wait,
My sound's
my
on.
sound's on.
You guys need your mic. One person needs their mic turned off.
Okay, mine's off.
And your
Use
mic is on.
Because your mic's
You're
better
good.
than mine.
Leave your stuff where it is.
Okay. Now we won't get crazy feedback from my mic. Woo! Okay, welcome to week 8 of 360. I forget what team we are. What are we, team A?
We're 18.
Or 18?
I don't know anymore. I actually think we're team B.
Team B?
Team B.
We're a great team, whatever letter corresponds to us. Okay, so I need
He
to do
just
some
needs the
screen
best.
sharing here. Right up there. Entire screen we're going to share. You guys let me know when you can see my eclipse. Can you guys see my eclipse now?
No.
If I
We're still seeing you.
Sure.
so
We don't
I
want
have
to see this.
click.
Okay, there we go. Now we can see it.
So I'm going to talk about application control pattern as well as MVC. Until I talked to Jason and Robert tonight, I had a hard time even differentiating between those two. They seem like they cover a lot of the same space. And so I put together a little program here. And basically what my little app does, it's meant to be kind of like an info app on colleges where you can store, the user wouldn't store, but it would just be an app that had a bunch of info, school names, addresses, mascots, you know, and add whatever you want eventually. But I did this very simple schooldata.java class that lets me store everything in there. And so far I just stored name, city, state, and mascot, and I did that for a few schools. And then I created a view and a controller. So here's my school view. And as you see down here, I'm calling it MVC even though I don't have multiple application controllers, just because I was following what Brother Barney talked about in the book. He explained that MVC stands for Model View Model View Controller. And basically it seemed like it was a template for how you would write an application controller almost. The one difference Robert explained to me is that MVC you can use multiple application controllers where in the application control pattern you'd have one view and one controller. So anyway, under MVC it says first you have a model for the data that might be your database, it might be, you know, wherever you're storing that data. You create the view and you create the controller. So that's kind of how I've interpreted it, is just the model corresponds to however you're storing that data, whether it's in, like I have here, in a collection, or whether you're going to tie into a database, or however you want to handle that data. So here's my little view down here. It's called School View, just trying to keep it simple. And right down in here, inside my School View class, I declare this controller, and then I call this display schools method in order to display the array list of schools that I have. So that pops up in my view. And then my controller looks like this. I have a controller called school controller, and same thing, according to my understanding, this is weird, but you look down on line 19, and I declare the school view. And I have to declare the view inside of the controller and the controller inside of the view so they're able to talk to each other, which took me a while to wrap my head around. It's still a little bit weird to me.
Or Java's archaic, if you ask me.
Yeah, and maybe, I don't know if other languages handle that better, but it seemed like a really weird thing for me to have to do. But then down on line 21, I have my array list, school data, and I have the get schools method here, and it's going to return the list of schools that I create with school data. And then I have my main method over here in my app. So right in here I have my school app, my main method, and this is where it calls everything else to run. So I will run that, and as you see down here in the bottom, it just prints out welcome to the school app, and I haven't done anything interactive or anything cool that, you know, my eventual intention is, if I continue developing this, to have it be touch-based on Android, where you can go through and scroll through the individual schools and then pull up data on location and whatever else, you know, whatever data you have stored in the database. But just in order to get this working, I pulled up every school that I had in there just in the console, just to prove that, hey, I can query this, or I can pull up this array list and print it out. And so eventually I'll probably need to tie this in with Hibernate or something, or tie it into a database to make it complex enough to get higher on my scoring for it. But initially, my main goal is just to say, I have a view. Here's my view. I have a controller that's handling it, and I have the class where the data is stored.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Anything you guys would add to that?
No,
So,
it's pretty simple.
No.
so I'm hoping, Brother Tuckett, I'm hoping you'll count this for both MVC and application controller, because unless you want to correct me, from what I understand with Robert, the only difference with MVC is you can have multiple application controllers and multiple views running.
And multiple models.
And multiple models. So anyway, but in theory, you have a view, you have a controller, and they're working together to get the data out and display to the user or manipulate it in whatever way you want. So that is my portion of the presentation. And I will stop my screen share.
Okay, it is my turn, and I'm teaching you guys about servlets tonight. It's probably going to be a little short because it's very straightforward and it's not too difficult since it writes a lot of the code for you. How do I screen share?
Over on the left-hand side, there's a green box.
Okay.
And then you just want to select, you can just select the application itself or everything. You'll probably want everything with what you're trying to do, so just select the one that says desktop.
Okay.
I do everything to hide my mug.
I just like this window.
Oh my gosh,
effect.
it's infinite. Infinite
How
views.
do I stop?
If you watch you have to just change the view.
I'm tripping.
Okay.
It's last week when we started the Team 7 leading video, when I did my stuff on MVC, the video that goes, look, it's my infinite windows. It's just this thing going all the way back.
Okay. You done?
No. Infinite windows. No, I am.
Okay. So,
Should make it all of the same.
what I gathered as servlet is it basically is an object that talks to a server or a web page to get information, and it displays it for you. It could work for a simple form, but in my application I did something simpler than that, and I just printed out some information I did. And to get this going, you need to install Apache Tomcat, which is a little pain. It's a pain in the butt, but to do this, well, you want to save it in well, I saved it in my library, so it's easy to find, and then you implement it in your Eclipse. Oh, I should note that you want to install a different version of Eclipse. It's
You need Eclipse for web applications.
the web
Because it doesn't
application.
have the server and servlet items you need unless you install that
Let's
version.
install that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Jason and I both have 2 versions of Eclipse running on our computer now
Yes.
because of that.
That's super fun.
So once you get that,
We really couldn't install it. If I could remember which one's which.
once you get that going, I may miss a step in here, but you basically go to Eclipse Preferences, server runtime environment, add, and
You add your Apache.
you add the Apache, yes. And then you basically press OK, and then you go to New, and it should be under Other, and then you should have a whole new list of stuff. Go to Dynamic Web, which I already have.
So it's not a new servlet then, huh?
No, you'll build that inside the
You're,
folder.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You're building the project right now.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah,
If
yeah.
you don't build it as a web project, it won't run.
okay.
So you basically do your name as normal. Just press OK or next. I guess
So for
so.
me, it'd be Captain Awesome's web projects.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just click finish, and then it should show up right here. And then just go to default, go to new, and it should have a new servlet option, and then whatever class name you want. And this is really cool. It generates all this code for you, basically everything you need.
Really?
Mhm.
That's cool.
With all that it needs to run this. So basically, since everything's here, you'll notice down here the do get and do post. Those are the classes that you need to run the servlet. So as you could see in here, I basically did a simple printer. I printed HTML and just a math. I'm square rooting 8, so
Mhm.
I did that under do get. You could do it under do post. The difference is do post is more secure. So like if you're requesting credentials or something important, you want do post because it waits until you have a secure connection. And with do get,
So I thought getting was pulling info down off of a web page and posting was pushing info out. Am I misunderstanding that then? Because I thought that's what I thought.
So wait,
I
say
thought
that
getting,
last part one more time.
So I thought getting was if your application is going out to a web page or something and pulling resources down, where posting is, whether you're posting information that you've entered into a web form or whatever, that you're pushing something out server side.
When I took 336, it says do get and do post do the exact same thing. One just automatically pulls in the request. One waits till the request is done. So that might be what you're thinking of.
yeah.
So do get, it
No, I'm probably
contacts a
just
web
completely wrong.
service. Well, no, because do get
No.
contacts a web service, says I need to connect to you, and then pulls the data back. You can send information to submit with that in a do get request, but it's not very secure. So do post says after we've got this connection established, then I'll send the information. So that's what I understand about it.
And then a question I had earlier that Robert answered, and I'm not sure if it's right or wrong, but I'm assuming it's right. But do
So much
post
assumptions.
is slower since it's waiting. So
Would it make sense? It has a couple
yeah,
times it needs to communicate
So,
as opposed to
if
one.
you don't need to secure anything, I would suggest go with do get.
So if do-get isn't establishing a secure connection, is it like is it using UDP and it's just best effort, just going to dump it out there? If it arrives, great, and if not, whatevs?
It's a good question. There's actually something you use in Java to establish your connection that's run in do-get. I don't know what
Oh, so
protocol.
Java handles that internally.
Yeah, when it builds all that stuff, it builds your connection for you. I don't know what protocols it's using. That's a good question, though.
Not really, yeah. So as you see, this is what I inherit into the program or the code myself is basically what you see here. And when I go to run it, it asks for you to select a server, so the Tomcat. Next, and you want it under this. If there's anything else, get rid of it, I guess.
Mhm.
And then you finish, and then my server's running, so I want to restart it and wait for it to configure, and that's my server. That's what I wrote in my code.
There's your HTTP and
Yeah. So
cool.
you could request information. You could do a lot with servlet, but I chose to keep it simple and easy. So that's my presentation. Any questions?
It's awesome.
All right. And I guess I'll
Even
stop.
Windows.
All your windows have become ours.
Yes.
All your windows are belong to us.
Man, it gotta be original. It changes up a little bit.
Yeah.
So you
And
can just stop broadcast. I never record past the